humid in the UK at the moment?
It's
Well, here we go. Well, greetings, world, and greetings, Seven Spot. We got a treat for you today.
where are we, Jim?
Well, we are all in British Columbia, with the exception of you. You are in Evesham in the UK.
In the Midlands, yeah.
I'm going to bring into the picture the star of the show, and that's Laurent Wiese, who is up in Garden Bay on the Sunshine Coast. And just to introduce us all, we've got John Minion from Evesham, myself from South Surrey, BC, and Steve Dunbar, co-hosting from lovely Burnaby, British Columbia. So greetings all, and
hello and welcome, everybody.
Wonderful. Is this your 7 kit, Laurent?
Yes, well, more than that, but yes, well, so now we're just standing down close to an old truck. I just pulled out the forest for those who just came in.
Yeah,
and that's a 1947. I think
it's a logging truck, is it not?
Yes, it was used for the logging industry to bring all the tires and wheels for the big machines and whatever equipment they needed.
There's some big wheels on that as well, isn't there? I've just noticed.
Yeah, it's and it's funny because when I pulled it out the forest, none of the tires have air and none of the tires are flat.
Wow!
They are hard as a rock, and they they will outlast me. They are just on there for good.
That's fantastic. Look at there. You've got a piece of art growing up around them, and they're just still hanging in.
Yes, I mean that's the idea. This truck, I don't have much of an idea what to do besides it being there for me every day when I go home. It makes me. I like the shape of it.
It's art.
Yeah. And it's turned into a garden feature with all the vines grown over.
Yes.
I love it.
That's way better than having a couple of concrete lines outside the front of your house or whatever. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. So now we're walking down to the garage because I believe this is a Lotus 7 or Lotus thing. So I'm just going to the garage and see what's happening.
There are a few people in the group that own 7s. I'll give you that.
Well, Laurent,
yes.
all I can say
Go ahead,
is that
Steve.
People that are interested with old cars, i.e. Lotuses, or making their own vehicles, are always interested in old vehicles, whether they're old trucks or anything else.
All right.
Petrol heads or petrol heads.
All right. So just to tell you how bad my disease is at this point, I will add something. Now, the vegetable garden you would think is for vegetables. Now, I will show you what's in my vegetable garden. I got that in there. My wife wasn't there. She wasn't watching because I'm into airplane things as well. And I've got an aircraft project in the garden.
How wonderful is that?
So
does your wife now know about it, or has she not been in there yet?
Yeah.
Well, that's the greenhouse, guys.
Well, that's what I told her. It could be a greenhouse, and it actually sits in the greenhouse, and it's going to be maybe one day an aircraft. Who knows?
Yeah, either that or you're going to be growing tomatoes one plant at a time.
Yes. But this is just scratching the surface of my bad illness and my. I just like to tinker.
I wouldn't say it's a bad illness.
So
it may be an illness, but I wouldn't say a bad one.
I'm going to say it's going to get better from here. It's got to get better from here.
Yes, so the garden and the aircraft, that makes sense, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Okay,
I think if we all had space, we'd have things like that as well.
Oh dear.
That's fine by me, yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So hold on, guys. I'm just walking another little bit here down to the garage because it would be hard to bring all the stuff up to the house.
Yes.
Yes. So we moved about 10, 11 years ago, and I first thing I had to have is a garage. So I got that working, sort of finished. Okay, so here
So
we're
you've
coming
got
to
bikes
the.
as well. Is that motocross bike? Yeah.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's with my son. We do that, but I've got
Is that
some
a
other.
KTM, a Honda?
Yes,
Yeah.
these are Honda. Not that interesting, you know, new kind of stuff. Only 20 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this little guy is an old
Oh,
Trials.
my brother had one of those.
That's a
Lovely.
TL 250.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great bikes.
Yeah, they're really fun.
Yeah.
And this bike everybody knows, anyways.
Of course.
It's,
Yeah.
The Cub.
Everybody went. Yeah.
yes, it's a Passport.
50cc or 90cc, I think they came in.
Yeah.
Oh
That's
no,
right,
now
yeah.
you're going too far. That's only 70cc. All right, now I'm in the one. I'm just going to put the light on for you guys. Okay, so that's another one I'm working on. So that's
Honda,
twin
Dream.
cylinder Honda. No, it's a CB93. They're called.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So it's a small displacement, 125,
Yes.
Yeah.
and that's amphibious aircraft. I finished restoring a couple, no, 3 years ago, and that thing I fly with it around
You
BC.
obviously have a pilot's license then.
Yes, yes, I found that in a cornflakes cracker box.
Can I ask you, is that a self-built?
Yeah, it's a home built. Yes,
Wow.
yes, that's a
Fantastic.
home, and it's yeah, it has it's 3 seats.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a flying boat if you want with folding wings, and I can keep
Wow.
that at home.
That's
Yeah.
absolutely lovely.
Fantastic.
Catalina. Yeah, Catalina. I know Catalina. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
how long did that project take you?
Oh,
build?
I worked on it for 2 years to restore it.
It was a restoration project then.
Yeah, I got it, and it hadn't been flying for 7 years, and it had some issues with the engine,
Yes.
and some modifications I had to do on the frame.
And how about recertification then?
Yeah, so I got this from the States, and I had to go through the hoops in Canada to get it certified as a Canadian amateur built aircraft.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it wasn't bad. It's just a few things I had to do.
Wow.
It looks
to get
very nice.
Yes, well, it's a
Okay.
bit fun. It's a bit strange sitting with the wings folded, but it's a pusher type. So
Yeah.
it has
Oh,
a.
yeah. The engine's at the back of the.
Yeah.
Back of the
Well,
cockpit
that's
there,
real cool. Then you don't have to take the ferry.
Yeah, that's correct. Yes, yes, yeah, and it's cheaper than the ferry too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Well,
here,
I
Yes.
always thought the propeller on planes was a fan for the pilot, because when it stopped going round, you could see the pilot sweating.
Yeah.
yes. Well, the fan keeps you cool, doesn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
Now
Laurent,
here for
what
the
is- oh,
for
That's
our
nice.
British friends here, that's the
Oh,
Queen
from-
Margaret's bike. Your queen has learned to drive on that bike.
Is it a Superior Bruff or whatever?
No, so that's a BSA C10.
Yeah.
It's 250.
Yeah.
And that's a
And,
hardtail too, isn't it?
That is a hardtail, absolutely.
hardtail,
Yeah, and it has a shifter on the tank on this
Oh,
one.
nice. Yeah.
Yes. Anyways, it's a old thing I'm working on, but very, very much British. Now let's have a look at the thing there. I call it my shitty car. All right. Sorry, I'm not very well prepared today, but
Oh, you did
Well,
fine.
considering we put this together from yesterday, this is great. Thank you very much.
yes. So here's the animal. And I'm actually very happy because the other day I was going to light a match to get rid of it.
Mhm.
forever I've been trying to set up the suspension on that car, and I got it working at last. So I'm really relieved.
Well, this is what intrigues me, and if you don't mind me jumping in, you purchased this car from a neighbor or a friend. Is that correct?
Yes, we are a bunch of friends collecting motorcycles in particular. And one day he called me up and said, "Look what I found." But it wasn't like this, of course. He found it outside with a tarp over and along the barn. And it was really ugly. So what he started doing with that car is cosmetically make it look like late Lotus, like a Lotus 6, early Lotus 7.
Yeah, and he did some interesting metal work at the on the rear end of the car too. I really like the look of the rear fenders that you're showing us, and also the beveled rear metalwork. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. So it has a. The fenders on the back are actually from a Harley Davidson.
Or are they really? Now the fenders are they free floating?
Yes. So there's a gap between the body and the fender.
Yeah. Wow, that's so wonderful.
And in that gap, you've got the suspension arms for
the trailing arms. Yeah.
The trailing arms for the falling suspension there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the front has got trailing.
Yeah, this is the most. And look at, I mean, you're just showing it there, but the way I look at it, that lower piece looks like a transverse leaf. Is that correct?
Yes. So when we move,
you got the leaf on the front, yeah.
When we move forward here,
and a live axle.
Originally, you can see the leaf here on the bottom, and you can see behind the steering rod there, you can see the live axle.
Yeah.
And that spring used to be 3 leaves and really heavy. It was very heavy. So I've been doing a lot of different versions and iterations. First, I did it without springs, but I couldn't fit a big enough shock absorber, coil over, in the space, because the space I had here,
and the trailing arms as well.
It's very limited, so I couldn't get the spring, and I would have had to re-weld the body, and so what I found is a combination. I had a small shock I ordered for, it's actually a motorcycle shock absorber, coilover. And I kept I went with no springs, and then I ended up with 1 spring. So it's basically that spring down there allows me to have a smaller coilover.
And how's the damping with the motorcycle coilover? Is it
it's perfect.
Wow,
and this coilover I can
because with the engine you've got a Cortina,
you've got an adjuster
crossflow
on
engine,
crossflow,
a bit heavy,
You've got an adjuster on that shock as well, haven't you?
Yes, so I've got air. I can pump it up with air, so it's it has that feature. So I've got the
harder or softer,
Yes, and I have the spring tension adjustment and the air. I adjusted it perfectly now. It's very, very good, and it's light. So I'm very much in tune with Colin Chapman, because the aircrafts I do, every bolt and nut I have in my hand, I turn twice and think about weight.
So how much does your car weigh? You said 1,300 pounds, is that right?
No, it's actually 1,200 pounds.
Wow.
Yes.
What's that in kilos? I'm clueless.
540, I think.
That's not bad.
Yes, 540 if I'm not mistaken.
I like the color as well.
Yes, so you will. It's funny because the color. First, I thought it's special, but it's actually a color you find in Canada, and it's called. It's for the anti-rust color. You find these colors for treating bare metal against rust.
Yeah.
And it's really nothing special, but the color scheme, the gray and the red, really
I think it
really
works quite well.
works very well. Yes.
How much of the bodywork is aluminum, fiberglass, or steel, Laurent?
Yes. So the front nose is fiberglass.
Uh-huh.
The bonnet is aluminum.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because you got the louvers in there as well. They look nice.
Yes.
Lovely louvers, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've got the opening for the air filters here. So these are Weber DCOE 40.
I bet that's got a lovely induction roar to that.
Yeah, that sounds great when you're roaring down the road.
Yeah.
It's glorious, glorious. Now I have these
aero screens, yeah.
Brooklyn aero screens, yeah.
Are those Brooklyns though? They're square shaped. I've got Brooklyns and they're kind of oval. Yeah.
Yeah. Now these are original Brooklyns.
Are they? Really?
Now I
recognize the aluminium.
Yes,
it looks identical to the ones.
I understand what you're talking about when you say that, Jim. In the UK,
I'm trying to be careful.
Yes.
Apparently, if you have Brooklyn screens, fold-down screens, you don't need wipers. But if you have a full windshield, then you need wipers.
That's very interesting way of putting it. From the point of view of the registration, you don't need it. But from the point of view of driving, you might need something else.
Yes.
Maybe a pair of goggles.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, definitely. We've
just got a carbon like screen on ours, wind deflector, but it deflects it literally just above my head.
Yeah.
We still wear a helmet in ours, but if you get the angle right and the height right, you can just deflect most of it over your head.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How tall are you, John? How tall are you, John?
Just over 6 foot.
Okay, because I'm 6'3", and I'm busy building mine at the moment, but we'll talk about that one at a later date with Jim. But we're more interested in Laurent's car right now. So
definitely. And if you're looking at fly screens, have a look at MoFast.
Oh no, it's going away!
Oh my god!
So I thought I put it outside so we can see. We have a better light out here.
Yeah, fantastic.
I was going to say you're very brave because you've got no roll bar on that either.
Yeah.
So originally I have a roll bar for it, but I took it out. I don't think
it doesn't look good, does it?
No. Well, that's
not on that style of car. No.
Yes, and to be honest, if I were to roll the car, that would probably be in a bad accident. And well, I'm not thinking about that.
See, anybody who flies, they have this sort of fatalistic or taking into account God's intervention about life. And if you're driving it, you enjoy it. And if God takes you away, God takes you away.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but you'll go enjoying it. That's the main thing.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. I think you have to enjoy life. The time you have, make it a happy life as much as you can. Yes.
I was looking at that alley dash as well. That's still been turned and all polished, isn't it? It looks lovely. That.
Yes. So the aluminum, I used a little tool, and it's not, it's not far from perfect. It really, everything is a little bit, it's not like a show kind of thing, but it makes it nicer than just a bare aluminum over the top of the wood.
It looks very period as well. Do you know what I mean? That's how the dashes used to be. Oh, you've done that bit as well. That's brilliant.
It's old school.
Yeah.
Love that.
So here at the bottom, I have that's the indicator right and left.
Yeah.
With a little LED. So.
Oh, nice.
So I know where I'm at. Yes, and this car wasn't fitted with any electric radiators or electric fans, sorry. And I added a fan just if I'm stuck in summer in
traffic.
I've got a
like a manual override switch. Yeah.
Oh, and yours has got a potentiometer. Look at that. Mine's just got an off and on. I've got the same thing, but mine's just an on-off switch.
So I've got it on a potentiometer.
Same as ours, just off and on. But that. That's quite clever. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Laurent,
yes.
what's your background, Laurent?
Oh, well, I'm an AME, an aircraft maintenance engineer. That's my profession. Yes.
Wow,
Okay.
that's what my son is.
Yes, that's brilliant. Yes. So now for the dash, before I everything is hidden, all the electrics is under that turtle deck, and I did this piece of wood on a hinge here.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a hinge line,
A piano hinge.
and one bolt on each side.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
clever.
so I can when there's one piece here,
Mm-hmm.
I have to take off because of the steering column, and then
Yeah.
I can just flip the whole thing back, and I can access behind the instruments.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Very
that a
clever.
stopwatch? Is that a stopwatch thing to the right? I've just seen that one.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, well, that's for when he's out rallying.
yes.
Right. And you
It's,
got
it's timing his stages.
two
So,
buttons
yes.
on that. You have two buttons on that as well. What's the one
Yes.
on the left?
Yeah, so one stops it, and one is putting it back
Reset.
to
Yeah.
reset. Yes. It's a bit of a joke, but I'm inspired by the rally, type of watches, but I couldn't afford a real rally like Hoyer. These two,
Yeah.
rally watches, they're too expensive, and
Yeah.
Yeah. That looks really period though. Again, it looks spot
Yeah.
on for for the dash and everything.
yes,
it,
and
does. It fits very nicely. It's looks authentic. Absolutely.
And
Yeah,
it looks
I like it.
It looks purposeful as well.
Yeah.
It's meant to be there. It's there for a reason.
Yeah.
yes, and
Now, Laurent,
yes.
Once we move past the dash, I got it in my mind. I just can't get it off my mind. It's that wonderful piece of manifold work that you've got. The
Oh
exhaust
yes,
manifold.
Oh,
Take a
yes,
look
yes,
on-
yes.
That is amazing.
So yes, so I will take the hood off for you.
Look at that.
So that's
Look at the single exhaust.
Is that just a single exhaust?
Wait
Getting it
until
just
you
straight
see
through,
this.
yeah?
Oh, wait till you see
Yes.
this, John.
so the exhaust exits on one point on the bonnet, runs along, and I had the exhaust come out at the end before the fender,
Mhm.
but then I found it so much nicer to extend the pipe,
Ah.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then that way my exhaust pipe comes out under the car. Where is it?
Oh yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
Here, just between the wheel and the body. Can you see
These are
that?
all-
Yeah, yes.
These are
yeah.
all motorcycle parts.
Yeah.
So, hey, now you're gonna laugh. This exhaust pipe, normally exhaust pipes are round like
Yeah.
this one.
I was going to
And
say, yeah.
and the other day, last year I had to change the exhaust of my Volvo car,
Mhm.
and the exhaust pipe is sort of flattened.
Yeah.
So I cut a piece out of the old exhaust, and that flattened piece just fit between the wheel and the body.
Ah, there you go.
Because
Very
Very
nice.
It does.
Yes,
that is
I,
quite tight.
it-
That's tight.
It
on
looks like
space
an
there, isn't it?
exit from a 1950s Indy car. That's what it looks
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
so it's
Reminds
very
me of
much.
reminds me of the Brooklands races,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So first, I was a bit concerned because of the proximity of the tire,
Yeah.
but in the end, there's no heat. The tire doesn't heat up, and it being at the very end of the pipe, it
Mhm.
cools down very quickly when you shut the engine.
Yes.
So-
yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
rate-
It'll be the headers that get most heat under the bonnet.
yes. So let's have a look what's under there.
Oh, definitely.
I promise you guys, no electric engines there.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Yay.
Sorry for the yes. Just bear with me for a sec.
Yeah. You're doing this very well. Typically on these shows, this is the part where the audience looks at the sky.
Yes, I'm trying to make you follow. So that's inside the. It has a bit of a reinforcement there,
Yeah.
and that's nothing special.
Mhm.
And now engine.
Those are all
Yeah.
pounded aeronautical rivets too. They're not just
Yes.
the automotive rivets.
Well, some of them are pounded. Some, I do admit, I'm guilty. I did use some pop rivets as well.
Oh, yeah.
But
You're not supposed to admit that stuff.
well, who's listening, anyways?
Who said
So
that? I didn't hear anything.
So
that header manifold, is that bespoke made? Because that's a very unusual.
Yeah.
Yes.
look at
So that's a piece of chimney pipe actually I found, because it's perfect in its dimension, and it's a bit it has a good shape to it to accelerate the airflow.
Yeah, to get the gas through. Yeah, get the exhaust out. Yeah.
Yes, and I made sure that the cylinder one wasn't facing the
Yes.
exhaust here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not exactly there, so
What-
that it has a bit of back pressure there.
Mhm.
What engine is that? Because I've never seen one where the spark plug is on the same side of the exhaust.
Oh, yeah, no, that's just a Cortina. It's a 2737. Yes.
Maybe I've not been keeping my eyes open enough then. Oh, yeah, there we go.
No,
Yeah.
So it's a cross flow. You've got
Crossflow.
carb on one
Yeah,
side,
carb on one side, exhaust
here,
the other.
exhaust the other. And
Yeah,
I think the spark plugs on all of them are on that side, I believe.
Yeah.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a very standard 1.6 cross flow.
Mhm.
I think it's from a Cortina, the early Cortina GT.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
My dad had one of those, a Cortina GT. Loved it.
Yes,
Lovely
yes.
cars, yeah.
Laurent, when you got this car, was it drivable at all?
Oh, no, it was really, I mean, if you want some hard near-death experience, that was the car. I mean, it's the worst thing I've ever driven. When I got it home, the first thing I thought to myself, what have I done?
Yeah.
So the basically it had like 1,000,000% bump steer. So
Yeah.
anything on the road would
that's-
make me go. I actually jumped from one lane to the other all the
no.
I
time.
was going to say, when you get it bad bump steer like that, it's virtually undrivable. You've got to be on it all the time.
Yes, and also what I found out is that the installation, the wheels, the wire wheels there,
Mhm.
they have a spacer and an interface piece between the original hub, which is I think a Ford Anglia 105.
So that's what it is. It's a Ford Anglia then. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that interference piece wasn't fitted properly. So the wheels were actually standing on the nuts of that interference piece.
Oh, good.
And
Lord,
when I
yeah.
was driving home, the wheels came loose. So that was
Yeah.
another problem. And then I had problems with the rear axle not being held properly.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the rear axle was moving in every
Yeah.
turn.
Yeah.
So between the bump steer, the play in the rear, the lateral play of
Oh
the
my
rear
gosh.
axle, I tell you what, I don't know, I've never driven anything that dangerous.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then the brakes failed as well. I mean, I really, to be honest, I deserve this car because I survived it. That's how I feel.
Absolutely. Yeah. You're very brave to drive it back home like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yes, I didn't realize. I fell for the looks, and I didn't realize
Yes.
how much underneath and engine, suspension, and driveline was being, it was totally problematic. Yes.
Just have to redo it. Did you
In
have to do
order
anything
to-
on the steering geometry to get rid of the bump steer?
Yes. So for the bump steer, I worked on all the geometry, and everything can be set on this one.
Okay. Yeah.
So the caster, with these two
Good.
rods,
Yes.
so you can extend
of course you can
or
with the-
shorten,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
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 and independently, top or bottom gives you then the caster and no, how do you call that? Front and back. The front axle will be
Yeah. That's the caster. Yeah.
caster, and
Toe in, toe out, caster camber, yeah.
Yeah.
yes, and camber I can set here.
Yes, you can
On
move
the-
that in. Yeah.
On the live axle, I've got a caster here. I had to
just
set
on
that.
there, yeah.
Everything was wrong, and the problem I had was there is no real I didn't have an example on how much in degrees I had to set this thing. So I've been looking at Lotus 6, Lotus 7, the K-term, and I did a bit of a medium kind of figure.
Investigation, yeah.
Yes, and I tried slowly adjusting it a bit more there, a bit less there. And in the end, after a year of driving it, trying, adjusting, trying, I got the figures right. And now I can let go the steering wheel, even over a bump, it keeps going. So, and it's very fast steering response. It's really great.
Quite a quick rack on that. Quite a quick steering rack.
It's incredible. Yes, I don't actually know what that steering rack is from. I have no idea. I overhauled it, but
possibly a Sierra.
It's
no, not a Sierra. No,
I was going to say Spitfire, but
I don't think so. With a live, maybe.
So Loren, do you know what? Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Do you know what caster angle you're running at the moment?
No, not by heart. I'd have to go into my files and have a look.
Okay, because I've heard approximately greater than 3 degrees caster is what one should be aiming for. And on my build at the moment, I'm hoping to get at least 3 degrees. But I was just interested to know what you ended up with.
Yes, I did so many iterations. I have to look at my papers, and the last ones are the good ones. And I don't remember by heart.
Okay,
but yes, get back to me and I'll check it out for you.
Thank you. I'd appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And your wheels, are you running drum brakes all round on that? Did I see?
Yes, definitely. So no booster, nothing special, just drum brakes. The thing which is funny on these, so it's two wheel cylinders.
Yeah.
So one on each side here, and I think it could be Spitfire. It's certainly a British car, but here you've got wheel cylinders on each side of the drum, 1 and 2 here. And the back, same thing. I've got drums.
Exactly the same. Because I see every now and again a post will pop up on some of the other sites I'm on, and there was one the other day where this guy was saying, "I want to upgrade to discs on the rear." They had discs on the front, and he wanted to upgrade to discs on the rear. Well, and I just tell him, don't waste your money. These cars are so light. You don't need. You don't necessarily, unless you're going into track performance and stupid braking zones and that kind of thing. Yeah, all right, you might want to go down the disc route, but if it's just for road use, you don't need discs.
Yes. Yeah. So I fully agree with you. And for me, the simple test is if I can drive at about 50 miles an hour and I can lock the wheel, it's way enough brakes.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if you can feel your shoulder straps digging into you,
yes,
you're fine.
Yes. Now, these brakes, I do have to push a fair amount to lock them in any way, but I quite like it that way.
Yeah, I do too. Well, I like the feedback.
Yeah. Yes, because
it's exactly the same on ours. We've not got any servo assist or anything, and you do have to give them a bit of a shove. It's not massive, but you've really got to push it hard to get the wheels to lock, and it's always the front that lock up first.
Yes.
Which is the way you want it. Yeah.
That's exactly it. And I wouldn't like to upgrade. For me, also for the age of the car, it makes it look period right. If I put
this is like a bopper bike, only with 4 wheels, so you want to have it all period.
That definitely wouldn't look right with disc brakes on it. Absolutely
no,
not.
it wouldn't. Certainly the drum brakes front and rear, especially with the front suspension as it is, the wire wheels, drum brakes, it fits really nicely, Laurent. It's lovely. Absolutely lovely.
Absolutely fabulous.
Yeah.
So going back to the what's plastic, what's aluminum, and so on. So the sides here, that's all aluminum here. And there is something quite peculiar, and maybe some of you guys have an idea. This part here, that's where fiberglass, it's a rear fiberglass shell. Yes. And since I have the car, I've been trying to figure what and where from. So
Oh.
this fiberglass shell is plywood core. It's period probably 1950s, 1960s. It's a technique used very early systems where you
Yes.
had a thick piece of plywood in the middle.
Yeah.
It's very well done. And if I show you here the floor,
I'd
you
say
see-
that's yeah.
Oh, it's, you have a fiberglass floor.
fiberglass. So
It's all
that's
just
shell.
roving.
Yeah, that shell starts
Wow.
here and it goes here. It makes the seats. So the seats are part of the shell. And
So that's a tub, and it's all
it-
fiberglass.
it is.
Yeah,
It
it's
is.
almost like a inner fiberglass tub.
It
Yeah.
is.
Dropped
And
in. Yeah.
I
and
think
at the
this
back.
at one point was a hot tub.
Oh, there you go. That might be. Let's fill it. Let's fill it with water. So here you can see the back of it. So
Yeah.
that's fiberglass.
Totally
Yeah.
unique. I've never
And-
seen
and-
anything like this. This is
and the
amazing.
shape-
I think I don't remember seeing one with the inner fiberglass tub. That must have been a one-off bespoke thing, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, I all I can say, it seems to me it's old. It's not something bought off the shelf, that's for
Yeah.
sure. And for me, it's too well made, too symmetrical
To be a home build.
to be
To
a home build.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because every corner I measured is perfect. You know, so I've been looking, but I cannot for the life
I was gonna
find.
say, it's obviously come off a mold or a body mold, not just
Yes.
someone knocking it up in a garage or something.
Yeah,
It's
that's it. Yes,
extremely well done.
yes.
Is
And,
that your
well
is
thought
that
out.
your battery in the boot as well? I just noticed.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it looks like we may have lost Laurent.
Oh, we
So,
just got try.
You got a few
Yeah.
words to say, John. What do you got to say?
I had a fantastic time at Kitfest.
You did, and so did I. And by the way, thanks for that load of pictures that you just put up on 7spot.
Yeah,
I'm
not
gonna-
mine. It's Chris, the person that we hired to do them.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to reviewing those. Those are going to be just great.
Yeah,
And
he's
I'm-
got loads of pictures. He's he's taken one of my. Well, he took one of all the cars.
Yeah.
And he can put them out onto acrylic.
Yeah.
And what he said is 100% of any
Okay.
profit that he makes out of selling them, he's going to donate it to Clare House.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got Laurent back now.
Okay,
but
I'm
thanks for
back.
filling.
I'm sorry, guys. Yes.
No
so
problem.
so here I had a huge battery and I've replaced it with a little lithium battery which weighs 1.5 pounds.
I was going to say they're so light.
So that's in the back.
What
You have
type of
to give me
battery
some-
is that?
Say again.
What type of battery is that, Laurent?
So that's called a Shorey battery. Shorey. It's called
Lithium, yeah.
but it's not lithium. It's lithium ion. So
Yeah.
it's
So
it's not
It's a dry
not
cell.
yeah, it's not a dangerous one. It's it doesn't burn up or something.
Yeah, we're not a big fan of those ones that burn up.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I tell you now, I've seen it. Once fiberglass gets lit and started, you will never put it out.
Oh yes. Well, you just
yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. No, for sure. So that's a response in regards to aluminum, plastic, and so on. So
Yeah.
all the panels are just like the original aluminum, and the tub, I kept it because it's bizarre, and the shape is a bit angular in the corners.
It's
But,
beautiful.
I think
absolutely
it looks different. I've not, it looks different, but it looks great, and it absolutely looks period. Didn't you know
And
what I mean?
with those vent holes at the bottom, it just gives it a distinctive look.
Definitely, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes,
Wow.
and
Those are speed
underneath.
holes.
Now, in the back, the funny thing is it has a fuel tank I found, which was from a Ford A 1927, if I remember, Ford Type A car.
Wow.
So
really?
it's
Model A.
yeah, it's great because they used to be very flat and oval, and
Mhm.
it fitted perfectly under the car. I don't know if. Yeah, you might not be able to see it, but it just fits perfect.
Well, that's great.
Uh-huh.
See,
Yeah, you can see the straps. Yeah, the retaining straps. You can make it out.
yes.
Wow.
Yes, and now the other thing I had to do, because I had too much fuel pressure using the original fuel pump, the mechanical fuel pump of the engine.
Mm-hmm.
So I've put an electric fuel pump in there.
Yeah.
I took the mechanical fuel pump out, and I had to put a regulator, pressure
so you-
regulator.
Yeah.
Yes. Otherwise, engine-wise, I had all sorts of issues. So first, it was leaking everywhere. I started looking for, for gaskets. And when I took the pan down, I found some metal teeth in the bottom of the pan.
Oh dear.
And unfortunately, what happened is that the oil pump drive, the teeth on the camshaft, they broke.
Well, that's good. It was just the oil pump, though. It wasn't something worse.
Good that you caught it at that time.
Yeah.
Well,
really.
yes, but then I looked a little further and I found the big ends had spun. So,
No.
and then I looked further and I found the chain and all the timing, all the sprockets for the timing chain. They were used up. The timing chain tensioner was worn. So the more I looked into it, the more I had to replace. So I took it out, changed all that, and that was for the engine. And I also had overheating problem because between the water pump, that's I had to replace as well. And the thermostat, at one location there's a tiny passage, and that was blocked.
Right. Yeah.
So I had overheating problem. I didn't know where it came from. So that was just a blocked passage there. I had some freeze plugs, the leaking, these guys.
Yeah. That often happens when people leave them outside in winter, and
Yes.
The water freezes. If they've not got antifreeze in it, it'll just pop them out a little bit.
Yes, and so I'm quite, I like to use tools, and I've been working on aircrafts, but I must admit to you all, the suspension, studying how to set up a suspension and how
getting all the angles right. I'm probably not clever enough to do it, if I'm honest.
No, but I must say it was one of the hardest things I've ever studied, because it is so complex in regards to
rebound, bump steer, toe in, toe out, camber.
Yes, but that's
especially taking into account that you have nothing to reference to.
Exactly. I have and the front is one big, hard and painful thing, but the back was quite difficult as well, for the sheer fact that I have very little space to work in. The movement of the rear axle is limited in space. So again, springs, shock absorber. I've got a panhard bar.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, panhard bar.
Panhard bar, and to get all that working properly when you go across, over a bump or. It was really difficult, and I did 3 different versions of the 4-link suspension.
Yes.
Before that, I had a ladder bar suspension on the car.
Oh.
And it was shearing bolts on the attachment of the ladder bar.
Wow.
Now I will show you, and it was a completely. Actually, I have the parts. I must show you that, but because it's like a 15-pound heavy thing, which was done by someone previously. Oh, I also have the old exhaust, which was so ugly. Oh, there you go. That's interesting. Look at how
you've done a great job on the new one. It looks fantastic.
So I'll show you like the
oh my gosh.
Oh
my god.
So I'm glad you changed that.
Did Stevie Wonder weld that?
That's what I that's basically
this is what you bought?
Yes, so that's what it was before, and that's everywhere throughout the car. I've been fighting workmanship, which was really crappy. So
I'm interested to find out how you fell in love with it.
It looked good. It's just like a nice actress. You look at her, she's beautiful. And then if she comes home to your house, things are not what they seem sometimes.
I've had a couple of marriages like that.
There you go. And hold on, I'm sorry.
We have to be careful here. Got to be careful here what we say.
Yeah, I'm not going to mention anything about Thailand. I think we might have just lost them a little bit there.
Yeah, it looks like Laurent is frozen. His screen is frozen up again, but
it's a stunning looking car though. It looks really, really period, and it looks like a very, really, really early 7. Do you know what I mean? It looks fantastic.
It really works well, and the red nose cone with the stripe around the red nose cone, and it's just fitting. It absolutely fits well.
Yeah, just like I said, it's like this is an homage car that's unique. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, there's lots of replicas. I drive a replica. John, you've got a replica.
Yeah.
And Steve, yours will be a replica. But nothing is nothing like this.
And
This is just totally unique.
If it had gone for a different paint scheme on that, it just would have looked wrong.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, the color works so well. It reminds me of an old Tiger Moth fighter plane.
Oh yeah, yes. I can see that.
Yeah, with that kind of lattice suspension and things like that, and the bracing, it looks like an old Tiger Moth.
Yeah. So,
and totally in line with his whole theory on British bikes. The hardtail, the whole thing is just like very
wire wheels, the knockoff wire wheels, everything. Yeah, it's really
drum
a lovely
brakes
build.
as well. Drum brakes always give it a period look well, because that's all we had back in the day.
Yeah.
And the trailing arm suspension front and rear.
I've not seen that before. Well,
you see that in hot rods quite a bit, but
hot rods, yeah.
Well, it's going to be interesting when why I asked him about the front suspension was with my build at the moment, I have no idea what the front end's going to work like.
Yes, I know that feeling. Yeah. It's just like it made me nervous. So when I was doing mine too, but I'm not so gifted. I just took it down to an alignment shop and said, "Have a good time,"
Yeah,
and they did a great job.
Yeah, send me the bill.
Well, I went through 3 complete changes on my front end. Working with the angles and how things are going to work. Anyway, Jim, we'll talk about that one when we get to my shop sometime in the future, and we'll go over that.
I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely.
And if I don't mind saying so, we're also working on another bit of a show, and we had at the ABFM, we had the opportunity to see Ed Leach in that wonderful Lister Jaguar, and I know that you are
stunning.
You, Steve, are doing a great job to communicate with them.
It's a Jaguar special. It's not. We must call it a Jaguar special.
Okay, Jaguar's novelly special.
I mean, the stories that he came out with that he's underneath one, just measuring everything up so we could get it millimeter perfect. And he did all the aluminium rolling on an old English wheel himself, didn't he? And it was just, I couldn't do that.
And he made a buck for it. Just like amazing, all the stuff that he did.
I'll be contacting Ed in the next couple of days, Jim and John, to let him know what we'd like to do. And I'd like to do one video on just the Jag, and then the subsequent build that he's doing with the stove bolt special that he's building. That's going to be fascinating. So Jim's Ed's a lovely lad.
He's a fabulous man.
Yeah.
Very talented. That's
Yeah. Well, guys, I don't know if Laurent is coming back, and the thing that scares me isn't the whole thing about this whole cellular world is that eventually we run out of battery power. And I'm thinking maybe we've reached that point. What do you think?
It's possible.
We've been on 49 minutes.
Yeah. And maybe we should put a bow on this, because he's really covered a lot of material, and you know, I'm sure the watching audience are really enjoying looking at me and John and Steve. But perhaps we should just say, let's put a bow on it. We'll bring in Laurent again if he wants to come on. I mean, we could
always,
absolutely
bring him in on other streams.
But I suspect that his batteries have failed, and that's really too bad. So why don't we go ahead, Steve?
He's a fascinating lad and interesting background, and all the little projects that he's got going. Yeah. He's going to have to keep going for a long time because he's got a lot going there. It's fabulous.
Absolutely. And it wasn't just cars, it was planes and bikes and God knows what. I mean, what hasn't he got?
Well, this is the beauty of what we do, guys, is because these little cars really help us tell our life stories. So this is really what it's about.
Get people talking about their cars, and all the stories come out, and that's often the funniest ones, the best ones. Yeah. I bet his wife still doesn't know about half the stuff that he's got.
Okay, guys, why don't we put a bow on it now? And we're just going to say goodbye, and we will see you.
We'll be seeing you.
We'll be seeing you. All right.
Cheers,
guys.
Cheers, Steve. Cheers, Jim.
Yeah. All right. Take care, lads. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye now.
Cheers.